Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Dorian Show. You guys like my new podcasting studio? Is just my kitchen because I'm poor. Before we get started, please like and subscribe. As you can tell, this is just another solo podcast, so I'm going to talk about a lot of finance stuff, but I think it's sad. I wanted to do a comedy podcast, but I think more people care about the finance part of it more than my goals and dreams in life. It's pretty sad, but it's fine. Before we get started, I do want to ask if anybody out there really like pie, because let me tell you, I ate the most delicious, juicy piece of humble pie in my life, dude. I bombed at the Comedy Store a couple nights ago, and it was horrifying. You know what I mean? Like, I felt good. You know, I did these jokes a couple times at different mics. As a matter of fact, I did those jokes at a different mic on the same day at the Glendale room, and I did pretty good. And I was like, I got this, dude. So when they called me up at the Comedy Store to do 2 minutes, just 2 minutes, I ate a big giant bag of dildos. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was very, very sad. Dude, it was crazy. There was like 40 people in the room. They were so close. It was in the belly room. I really like that room usually, and they were just all staring at me. It was insane, dude. I don't know. Speaking of bombings, Joe Coy bombed at the Golden Globes. Dude, I feel bad for Joe, man. You know what? I didn't think it was that bad, but these last couple of days, I guess they have a bunch of these award shows that no one watches. There's Golden Globes, and then after that, apparently a bunch of other comedians hosted award shows, and they did great. And everyone's comparing them to Joe Coy. Oh. Sorry, Joe, you'll bounce back. Let me open for you in the Philippines, my friend. It's all right. I think it's okay. All right, let's get to some finance stuff. The most of you guys care about. So Bitcoin Spot ETF started trading officially today, I guess. This is Tuesday. And surprisingly, the prices haven't moved a lot. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people are like, oh, dude, the first day of trading is going to spike to like $100,000. Or the other side of it, people are like, dude, it's going to drop to $10,000 because everyone's going to sell out of these ETFs. But so far, there's nothing happening in the market. Like, it moved a little bit. It moved 1% today. So still hovering around $43,000. I guess the biggest news today was Grayscale. Like, a bunch of people sold out of the ETFs. They sold about $500 million. So about $500 million of people sold the ETF, and that's not even really a big deal, dude. The market cap of Bitcoin's like 850 billion. Right, so 500 million shares will not even move it at all. So I'm not worried about Bitcoin. I mean, I don't know. Like, what do you guys think Bitcoin will hit? Like, I personally think Bitcoin's going to hit $100,000 at some point. I just don't know when. I feel like it's probably. I wouldn't be surprised if it happened at the end of the year or next year. I think for sure, if interest rates ever go back down to zero, it's going to hit 100,000 for sure, which represents about like 150% gain from current prices. So I mean, a lot of people are like, oh, if you're so. When I say a lot of people, actually nobody, because no one listens to me, except for the 3 people listening to right now. But a lot of people are like, oh, if you think it's going to hit $100,000 for sure, like, why don't you buy it now? It's a guaranteed 150% gain. And I mean, I typically would. It's just that I'm pretty confident that it will hit $100,000 at some point, but I just can't pinpoint when it will happen. It can happen real quick. It could take a couple of years. What I don't want is like for me to buy a bunch and it drops and I really need the cash, right? Like, I see another opportunity somewhere else and I can't sell it. That's what I'm worried about. I guess you could say that's kind of like a hedge. What I really want to do is buy a house, you know what I mean? Because I'm tired of renting. I have like shitty neighbors, you know what I'm saying? So I want to be able to buy a house. I'm not saying I'm rich because I can't afford anything right now in LA, but if there is a major drop in prices, you know, I might be able to make a move for a house. And if Bitcoin's falling at the same time, like then I'm screwed, right? Then I can't move my Bitcoins and I can't sell it to go buy a house because Bitcoin's worth less. So you really just got to think about what you want to do with that cash. If you have a bunch of cash left over and you don't need it anytime soon, like go ahead, throw it into Bitcoin. I think it'll be fine, but what do I know, dude? I'm poor, guys. POOR. Anyways, what else is there today? People are talking about Jerome Powell and the Feds lowering interest rates at least 3 times this year, 2024, equivalent to maybe 0.75%. Maybe. Dude, I just don't see that happening. I don't even know why it's crazy because a lot of people think there will be more. Some people, the Fed has basically told us that it will be three rate cuts, but I'm like, I don't see that happening. Like, you know what I mean? Like the interest rates have not hit 2% yet. A lot of people say, not interest rate, I'm sorry, inflation has hit 2%. Yet it's still above 3, I think. But like a lot of people, especially on other finance pods or on TV, they're like, inflation has come down. It's time to lower interest rates. And I'm like, dude, like, here's the truth. Like consumers, like everyday people like you and me, like me, I'm just an everyday guy, dude. Like lowering inflation does not make us happy about what's going on with prices, because in the last couple of years we've seen groceries like double in price. You know what I mean? Like I love eating meat. I love buying steak. Steak used to be in California too, and maybe 2-3 years, like a ribeye steak at Costco was selling for like maybe $10-11 a pound. Now it's like $15-16 a pound. That's a huge jump, right? So when you're telling me inflation is coming down, it just means it's going to stay at $15 a pound. But everybody that's like me, we want to see prices that go back 3 years ago, which I know is not going to happen because that's actually deflation, and that's actually terrible because in order for like food prices to drop that much and for deflation and prices to drop down in all across the board, it means we're going to be in a recession, and that will bring a lot of pain, including people losing their jobs, losing their homes, their cars, et cetera, et cetera. And that will be the time I'm ready to buy a house, actually. So that's actually why I'm holding a lot of cash in case there's a huge recession like that. And, you know, people will be so sad. They will be like, oh, no, I can't. I bought this $1 million house and I can't afford it anymore. And then I'll be like, I'll give you like $200,000. Okay, take it or leave it. I'm just joking, but you know, you have to be prepared for every situation. So yeah, I don't know if I would spend that money on, like I said, Bitcoin. Like if Bitcoin goes up 2.5%, whatever investment I put in, that's a lot of money. But if it goes down, I need that money to like put a down payment on a house. Like I'd rather not earn that money and have the safety of having cash. But what did I know, dude? I'm dumb and I'm poor. But if you don't think I'm dumb or poor, please hit the like button, subscribe. If you're listening to any on a podcast platform, like give it a 5-star rating. Anyway, if you guys listen to any of my old finance stuff, you know I did a couple episodes with guests on where I just shoot the shit. But I'm a investor in uranium, and uranium has finally reached over $100 a pound, and this happened about like a week ago, I think. And it's kind of crazy because within a year ago, uranium was trading around like $40 a pound, and at the time I was just like, oh, is it ever gonna hit $100 a pound? And did. It just actually, I've held uranium stocks for like maybe 2.5 years. So for like maybe it took 2 years for it to kind of like break through like 40, went to 40 to like 70, and it came back down, and now it seems to be catching momentum and hitting past $100 a pound. And honestly, from here, I think it will keep going up. I'm actually pretty confident that they have a better story than even Bitcoin. I mean, Bitcoin, you don't really have, there's no really some real story to Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin is just itself, like it's not used for anything. People just like it as an asset. And I think Bitcoin would go up because more people are able to access Bitcoin easier, right? Because before people were just like, oh, how do you use Coinbase? I don't know. What are these fees? Why is it so expensive? But now you just trade it on the New York Stock Exchange for like basically free. You know, people that always wanted Bitcoin might be able to buy it. I think there are demand for Bitcoin to make it go up. So that's the story for Bitcoin. But uranium has a better story because we need the whole world is basically transitioning to green energy, whatever it is. They don't want to do coal. They don't want to do oil. Unfortunately, like there's just not enough solar panels and windmills and dams to basically meet the demands of people's energy needs. So I think they're finally figuring that out. Uranium is nuclear power. Is very reliable source of energy. We were very afraid because of Fukushima back in the days. Maybe how long ago was Fukushima? Like 10 years ago, 15, 20 years ago. I don't know. I just know uranium is making me rich, baby. Anyway, there's a high demand for uranium. There's a bunch of nuclear power plants being built all around the world, led by China, obviously. And even before they even start running, they need to buy all these fuel for it, which is the uranium that I'm talking about. And there's just a shortage of uranium. Like everything I've looked at, there's not enough uranium. There's not enough demand. No, sorry, there's not enough supply for the heavy demand. So the price is only going to go up. That being said, how high will it go up? Because they say that like higher prices solves higher prices, right? So at some point it's going to reach such a high price that everyone is going to get into the game, and they're going to flood the market. And when is that going to be? I don't know. I don't think uranium has ever reached above $200 a pound. So that's something I'm like kind of looking at. I'm kind of even looking at it right now, even though I think we're still at least a couple years away from a bunch of people being able to produce uranium. So maybe like 150, if it goes up to 150 real fast, or any price movement that happens real fast, like that's what I'll be a little bit worried about. So I don't know. I don't think it has reached a mania yet. I don't even know. I think some news outlets like CNBC have talked about uranium a couple times, but it hasn't hit like Wall Street Bets crazy momentum yet. I think once that happens, like I'll get out. But so far, yeah, I think it's sustainable. I think I'll get worried if prices go up per pound of uranium too quickly. I'll be a little bit worried about that because I know someone somewhere might have supply and they might flood the market and it's going to tank it. So in the meantime, I'm not too worried. It's probably one of my best bets ever so far. Where the thesis has turned out fine. It took me 2 years, and I think I doubled up my money right now, right? So I made 100% gain. I haven't sold a single stock. Some people are like, hey, you should take some money off the table, but I'm like, nah, dude. Like, I'm trying to make as much money as I can, right? So if I sell something, it just goes into my earnings. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I should sell today. Maybe it's gonna crash tomorrow. I don't know. But I like it here. I am kind of worried. So if you guys want to invest in the physical price of the uranium, we could buy like a spot uranium trust, kind of like what I talked about Bitcoin. These Bitcoin trusts that kind of follows the price of Bitcoin. They have the same for uranium. I invest in Sprott Uranium Trust. In the U.S., the ticker is SRUUF. And I think that's pretty safe. It just kind of follows the price of uranium. So that's good. I like that. I also own Cameco, which I am a little worried about. I don't know if you guys follow Cameco, and also Cameco is like a producer of uranium. They drill and mine and do all that for it. And so what happens when they're one of the largest producers, right? So they've done really well the past 2 years because, they're like the safest bet. But there are concerns right now about their contracting. So what happens is they contract people in like multiple year terms to lock in price. So people won't like get hit too much by the fluctuation of the spot price, right? For example, it was like in the beginning of the year, it was like $40 a pound, and now it's like $100 a pound. I don't think people that are running these nuclear plants really want to deal with that, and that's where these contracting comes in. However, there is a growing concern around the Twitter community. At Dorian Trong at Twitter, I don't really post, but also follow me on Instagram, dude, at Brobasaur03, because I'm a comedian. Anyway, there's the concern about Cameco's contracting because they're leaving a lot of money on the table and they're not producing enough uranium to deliver. That's the fear. Well, for sure, they don't have enough to they don't produce enough new uranium units to give to their buyers. So what they have to do is basically they have to go into the spot market, so like the everyday market, to buy pounds of uranium to deliver them when they're missing pounds. Unfortunately, the crazy thing is they cap what they could make in their contracts, right? So they're like, oh yeah, you guys, if let's say you're a company and you're buying uranium from me and I'm Cameco, I'm like, all right, here, just sign a 3-year contract with me and I'll put a price cap on it. So if uranium ever hits $100, you'll only pay $60. Well, the issue is if uranium hits like $150, $200, and they're stuck at the $60 price, they're not, but it's equivalent, let's say like $80, and the spot market is $200. That means that they need to fork out $120 to go and buy $200 uranium and give it and deliver it to their customers, which is what a lot of people are afraid of. And I am a little bit concerned too. I think it's a reasonable concern, but like I know Cameco is like one of the best in business, so they're not. I like to think their board and their management are not complete idiots. So what we see so far is just contracts that they've already made. So I'm thinking future contracts, they're going to raise the price depending on how the spot market goes. So maybe right now they're like, oh yeah, if spot market is 100, you owe us $60. Maybe the upcoming contracts they write, they're like, okay, if spot's $100, you guys will give us $80, which is fine. I mean, clearly they can't just go YOLO. That'll be crazy if they don't, kind of hedge the price of uranium. You know what I mean? Because like the price could go down and go up. They need to secure a price where they can make money. But I do understand the concern of people saying they're kind of screwing themselves over the contract. So I'm going to be looking closely at that. I think their earnings are coming out on February 9th. February 8th. And today is January 16th. So I'll definitely be looking at their like new contracts and comparing it to last year. And hopefully that number has moved up in their contracting cycle. So we know they're at least making the right decisions. Anyway, that's enough about uranium. I love uranium. I have a lot of money in uranium. I wish I invested more in the beginning. I don't think it's too late now, but I don't want to be overexposed at like such a high price, which is kind of dumb, I guess. I think it's safe, but I have been wrong before. Anyway, so let's see. I do want to talk about Disney. Speaking of bombings, bringing it back to bombings, Disney has been getting a lot of hate recently because I don't know. People are saying it's because they're too woke. But honestly, I think their movies are just not good. And it might be the whole woke thing, but I don't care, dude. I'm all about the money. So you could be as woke as you want. Just deliver on your product. Unfortunately, they have not. Some of the news has said they've lost over $900 million in the box office this year. I'm like, I don't even know if that's true, So I took a look at their last 10 box office movies, and half the movies lost money, which is pretty terrible. But I think they still made money overall. They made like 24% ROI on their last 10 movies. But that's not a good. But most of that money came from two movies, which was Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, and what was the other one? Guardians of the Galaxy. So they made all their money in two movies, whereas maybe three of them kind of broke even, and then like 5 movies just stunk it up. So that's not good. And I think Disney probably have some issues knowing who their target audience is. I think they just they've been doing so well for so long that, I think Bob Iger kind of just let people do whatever the hell they wanted, and it's crazy. I don't understand. Well, specifically for we've all heard about like I don't know what the lady's name is that's in the new Snow White remake, but she was just shitting on like the old Snow White. They're like, that prince is a stalker, blah blah blah. And I'm like, why are you saying that? Like, these movies are like for kids and like for families with kids, and I'm sure like they're not the audience you're really looking for if you want to complain about Snow White prince being a stalker. The truth is I haven't even watched Snow White, but I'm like, all I know about is Snow White and the 7 dwarves, and like the mom try to have the hunter kill the baby, kill Snow White, and yeah, I don't know. Don't change all of that. A lot of the remakes in the past have made a ton of money because they basically just kept the movies the same. Like I think Beauty and the Beast and Lion King made a ton of money, the remakes, because it was like the exact same movie. Allegedly, I haven't watched it, but they made a ton of movies, and I'm like, don't change something that's not broken. Like this is kind of like your golden goose, You made a bunch of money off the original, and you could make a bunch of money again. So don't screw it up. It's almost guaranteed money. I do want to let me see how much money Little Mermaid made, and I think Little Mermaid spent about $400 on the budget, $400 million on the budget, and made 567 gross. So I guess they made like roughly $150 million in the box office off Little Mermaid, which is, not as good as the other ones. And I haven't seen the movie, but I think it was pretty. I think the only thing that changes, they changed the race of the Little Mermaid, but everything else about the movie was kind of the same. I haven't watched it, but that's what I've been told. So maybe the race swap got some people upset, but I don't know. I mean, I get it. You want to have like a diverse cast to like represent other people that that are actually watching your movies, because people of other races besides white people also watch Disney. But dude, I hate to say it, but like the box office also don't lie. You know what I mean? Like I personally loved when Shang-Chi came out. I was like, dude, this is gonna be so sweet. A Chinese person that's gonna be like a Marvel superhero, but it made money, and it also came out during the pandemic, or right out of the pandemic. So maybe that'll hurt it, but like it just didn't do as well as other comic book movies. So yeah, I don't know. But sometimes I don't know. Yeah, I think sometimes you have to take risks, but you have to make sure you make money off of it, right? So at least Little Mermaid made money, Shang-Chi made money, but dude, Black Panther made a shit ton of money. So what the hell do I know? I do think they need to probably stay away from politics. I mean, I think politics really screwed up Disney. Like, you just need to entertain people. Once you get like, I don't think they understand like half the country. The country is not just like people from the West Coast and the East Coast. You know what I mean? Like, there's a bunch of people spending money at Disney, buying their product, watching their movies that are outside of those two areas. So I'm like, just stay away from it. You want to hit like you want to basically please the most people as you can, like not get anyone upset. So I don't know. Oh, I do want to say this about Marvel. I'm like, They need to get back on who their customers are. Like, why? I haven't watched the Marvels, and people are like, you can't hate on something that you haven't watched, but like, this is kind of on the point. Like, who is the Marvels for? Like, if there's so far they're losing 223 million. That's how much they're losing. They're in a whole 223 million for the Marvels, and I don't even know if the movie's good. I heard a lot of people saying the movie wasn't good, but I think Rotten Tomatoes. Let me see. Actually, what does Rotten Tomatoes have them rated? Dude, the audience loved it. Audience had it a score of 82%. Audience score 62% for reviewers. Like critics, critics rated at 62%. I think that's okay, but 82% of audience members liked it. So actually, it should be like a really good movie. But I'm just like, who's your target audience? You know what I mean? Like, are you making these movies for like women, for young girls? Are they your target? I mean, I don't think so. I think, movies like superheroes and stuff, like the target is mainly men, like men, boys, and like their girlfriends. I think I read something, they say like the majority of viewers for the Marvels were also men. So I'm like, you got to make something for them. You know what I mean? Like, this is all about the money at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to make movie they're like target audience for women, like do what Barbie did. Like, that was a major success. It was like made $1 billion in the box office. That's what you got to do. Anyway, looking at Disney is costing me a lot of money. I think I'm down like maybe $10,000 on Disney stock, which is, it's not great. But I don't even know if Disney is investable at this point. You know what I mean? Like, it's basically straight up gambling at this point. I think Disney is trading at $90. I think it could be like a $40 stock, as low as a $40 stock, or as high as like $200 stock, depending on how good the movies coming down the pipe is. You know what I mean? And I just don't know if that's even worth risking. Like, I don't even like Netflix as a business per se, because they're gonna live and die on their content. And right now they have people aren't canceling their membership at Netflix, but that could change. Like, that could change it anytime. Like, I don't know if that's the business I want to get into, but I'm already in Disney. So, and right now I feel like it's just like you're basically gambling to see if it'll either go up or go down. Yeah, I don't know. I think it will. What I don't see is it being stuck at $90 right now. I think it could go down. It'll go down enough where someone will probably try to buy them, maybe like Apple, who want to own their content, their IP, and their library. Maybe, yeah, Apple will be the only one that will buy it. I don't see Google or Amazon wanting to buy it, unless they get to keep the parks, but it doesn't make sense because the parks are, so connected to Disney and animation and stuff. Like, yeah, I don't know. So Disney basically split their business into 3 segments: entertainment, sports, and experiences. So entertainment, I already talked about their movies at bombing. But the next 3 movies coming out in 2024 are going to be, I think, huge hits. Inside Out 2, I think it made $1 billion, close to $1 billion last time it came out, and it was only cost them like $100 million to make. Deadpool 3, that's going to be a banger. Easy, and Mufasa, Lion King, I think that's going to be making a bunch of money in the theaters. A sure win. They just don't piss people off on the messaging, and they should be fine. Here's the crazy thing too. Actually, animated films cost less money to make than these live action movies, which I guess makes sense because you got to pay these huge stars. But they need to get back into the animation and make some good animation movies. So Inside Out, people loved it from the first one. It will be good. Mufasa should be good. They only have 3 movies. Probably more will come out, but we shall see. Anyway, so the next part of their entertainment is streaming. I don't like that Disney have 3 streaming services. They probably see them as like a whole package. You get basically everything you need with Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN. Like you basically get everything you want to watch in those 3 services. However, I think that's like the positive way to see things. The negative ways to see things, like those 3 are also competitors to each other at Netflix, right? If people are like, I'm gonna get Netflix and ESPN Plus, I'm not gonna pay for Hulu and also Disney Plus. So I don't know. I think the only way they can make money is they have to make the 3 bundles so competitive and such a good deal that people would be like, it wouldn't make sense for me to just get 1 or 2 of these. I'm going to get all 3. But I don't know. Content costs so much. The only streamer making money is Netflix right now. The writer's strike, everybody's getting paid more, blah, blah, blah. So I don't even know if they could lower the price, Just checking at the packages. Netflix's most expensive package is $23. And that's like Ultra HD, 4K, whatever. And then Disney's triple package is $25. So $2 more. You get Hulu, ESPN Plus, Disney Plus, ad free. So that's pretty comparable. So if that was just the highest tier, yeah, sure. I think some people would pick Disney over Netflix. However, what the game changer is their ad tier service. So Netflix, if you get the ad based service at Netflix, is only $7. And the Disney triple package, Hulu, Disney Plus, and ESPN is $15 with ads. So that's a huge difference. You know what I mean? If Disney could like figure out a way to get that price down from $15 to maybe like $10 or even $11, it would be a game changer. And I think a lot of people will sign up for it and they'll watch ads for it. I think most of these streamers actually make more money when people pay for the lower tier and watch some ads. But yeah, I just don't know how Disney will be able to do it. Out of the 3 streaming services, Hulu's closest thing to Netflix. It's hard for me to see people with both Netflix and Hulu. So that's hard, but it's also the only other streamer besides Netflix that's making money. So Hulu's making money, but I'm like, how are you going to get people to get Hulu if they already have Netflix, It would have to be because of the bundle. Disney Plus is a niche market. They have great IP, Marvel, Pixar, Star Wars, blah, blah, blah. You guys know. A lot of people say they shouldn't even start this, but I think that's wrong. They have such a huge category. It doesn't make sense to just kind of give it away for free. I think Disney Plus will be here to stay. At some point, they're going to be able to make money. I just don't know how much. They need to have quality control. They need to stop spending so much money doing like She-Hulk and whatever else. I mean, some people really like, what's the Star Wars movie? Mandalorian. A lot of people like The Mandalorian. I actually think all their Star Wars shows kind of suck, except for Andor, but like nobody watched it because there was no hype to it and it wasn't a character that people really cared about. But it was a really good show. What else is great? I think WandaVision was great. Loki, first 2 seasons were great. Yeah, personally, I don't think any of the Star Wars show is good, and I'm like, you're just diluting your library, and I don't know. Like, I think Bill Iger needs to just hire people that make good television again, and not just putting out a bunch of trash. But Disney Plus is fine. I think Disney Plus will be able to survive and probably make money. They say by the end of this year, 2024, and then if not this year, for sure next year. I just they just got to cut spending and make sure they have good content, which is easier said than done. Out of all the 3 streaming services, the one I don't like the most is probably ESPN Plus. Dude, sports rights are just expensive, and they would just get more expensive. You got to realize, like, Disney got to bid these rights against like Amazon and Apple and Google, and these fools basically have unlimited money, and their size and market cap is huge compared to Disney, right? Disney has a market cap of $170 billion, and Google has a market cap of $1.8 trillion. Dude, this is close to $2 trillion. You know what I mean? Like, it's just so massive that I'm like, how are they even going to compete with these rights for sports? And you also don't want to be Disney's and be like forced to overpay for some of these rights. So I don't know. Maybe they should. I think they should just sell ESPN Plus to Amazon or Disney, not Disney, to Amazon or Apple. If not all of it, but like try to get rid of ESPN. I think there's some value in the right hands, but I just don't know if Disney could afford it. The good thing that they have on their side right now is they have Monday Night Football under contract until 2033. So they have like 9 years to figure out what they're going to do with ESPN, I guess. NCAA expires in 2032, so that's 8 years to figure out what they want to do. MLB baseball 2028, 4 years to figure out what they want to do with that. Except the biggest thing is NBA contract is expiring in 2025, and NBA is like one of the fastest growing sports, second in the US, second in the world probably after soccer. But the NBA is going to be asking for a lot of money, and Apple and Amazon and Google are ready to just give them a ton of money. And I'm like, does Disney want to give them like a shit ton of money to have their games on there? I don't know. I think Disney kind of messed up. They could have bought the UFC 4 years ago for like $4 billion. I understand why they didn't want to get into that business, because you can't control the athletes. There's a lot of crazy people like Kobe Covington and Sean Strickland saying some crazy stuff. Conor McGregor says some crazy stuff. You know what I mean? And that's why I think like Disney made a huge mistake getting into like politics and wokeness and all this stuff. Like they should just be like, we only control what we make at Disney, but like we're staying away from politics. So if they bought the UFC and all these people are saying all this crazy stuff, you're like, hey, here at ESPN, we just focus on good quality and good fights. Like our product is fights, and whatever they say, like, is what they say. I think they could still make a move for the UFC. They're traded publicly right now with WWE Wrestling. I think their market cap is about $6 billion. However, Endeavors owns about 51% of it, so controlling shares of the UFC and WWE. I think they're trying to sell them actually. So if Disney wants to get in on that and buy the whole UFC, they're probably gonna have to pay a premium. They probably don't want to do it, so they really messed that up. But yeah, I don't know. Parks are the only bright spot of Disney right now. Parks and what do you call it? Parks and experiences. So Disneyland, Disney World continues to be a moneymaker, and is about a little bit a third of their business. So it's a significant amount, but they need to figure out streaming. Anyway, the parks are doing great, even with Bob Iger beefing with Ron DeSantis in Florida. Like they're still making a ton of money. People are still going Disney cruises, making a ton of money there. But yeah, I think they just need to figure out their streaming and make good content, and they should be okay. The issue is I don't know how much time they have, and also the amount of money they need to spend to make great content. Like I don't know if Disney is the way to go. Let me know, what do you guys think? Like, is Disney a buy right now? $93? Is it gonna ever go back to like $200? Is it ever gonna hit $300? Is it gonna be the old Disney, or is it gonna keep dropping to a point where everything's so cheap and someone's just gonna split it up into different parts and sell it off? I don't know. Tell me what you guys think. Okay. All right. Anyway, that's all I have for today. Thank you guys for listening. If you like this podcast, please like and subscribe. Leave a review on your, if you're listening to a Spotify or Apple podcast, leave a review there, 5 stars only, and leave a comment below if you guys want any questions or anything you want me to talk about. That would be much appreciated. Anyways, I love you all. Peace out.